is this coming? I really hope what we were doing with Lindsay is still captured because I would be so bummed if that. Hey, Lindsay. Um, I really hope. I really hope. I really hope what we have spoken about is captured somewhere because I
Somewhere.
thought I was like we were having such a beautiful conversation. I was like, wait, what happened? We are too hot for the internet.
I was gonna say that the IG frequency couldn't hold it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. If you know, you know.
Oh my God. But I think the conversation where we were at was talking about psychology
Yep.
and Western framework
Yeah.
and how we suffer in that.
Hmm.
And also the necessity of it too, right? Because we are living here, we are living in this particular construct, and we can't
Right.
extract ourselves from where we are, no matter how much we want to, right?
Right.
But
And
in
also,
that
do
one,
we even challenging like, I think that's the real aspect of it is that, you know, we can't just extract ourselves from it because
no,
what will
we can't.
we would just be putting it in our own shadow. And so
Totally.
there's a part of us that has to, I was born here. It's 2025, right? I've got all my gadgets and my technology. So to pretend like I can just take all of that away and
Yeah.
go back to an indigenous or African indigenous worldview, it's like I have to find a way for those worlds to live together.
Yeah.
And I have to reconcile with the part of me that is more American than African. I
Right.
have to reconcile with the part of me that is more capitalistic than in reciprocity, right? Because these are real
Mm.
forces. And so when we other it, when we say, oh, this is the thing that we have to destroy or take down, but we don't deal with that within ourselves,
Yeah.
then we end up perpetuating harm. And I think that's really where the archetypes of racism class comes in.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what we find over and over again, particularly in core, is that no one comes into the program wanting to be racist, right? I'm a Black woman in a Black body. Certainly, I'm not anti Black, but I am when I don't challenge some of the things that are part of my subpsyche,
Yeah.
right? And so I
Right.
think a big part of the reconciling the Western and the Western psychology even is that there's something there that we can use and work with and understand and come into a deeper relationship with it as part of our why. It's not about just romanticizing some other way of being and being like, well, that's who I am. It's like, no, you're all of it. And you
Yeah.
got to deal with all of it.
Yeah. And it is so true when we start to romanticize something, then what we are doing is we are actually escaping.
Yep.
We are not rooting ourselves in the lived reality that we are at. We can
Right.
aspire to be, we can remember certain things. And the fact of the matter is the assignment is that we are here right now.
Yeah.
And and our minds are so clever. It
Yeah.
uses all kind of different labels and things to trick ourselves to escape, you know and it's okay when we have to, but do we know that's what we are doing when we are doing it? I
Right.
think that's like the only difference to me, is that we all do it. Are we honest that we are doing it? And
Right.
can we catch ourselves, or do you allow others to remind you that's what we are doing
And can
versus?
you be in a strong enough relationship where you will be open to someone else helping you to see it?
Yeah.
And I think because we live in such a culture of individualism,
Mm-hmm.
we've lost our capacity to learn from other, or we're losing. I shouldn't say we've lost it, but we
Yep.
have to
Yep.
strengthen that muscle. Am I able to learn from a colleague when they point out the ways that I am um, being anti-black or being racist, right?
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
without defending and being like, no, I'm not, or can I be receptive to learn from my plant allies that have a
Mm-hmm.
wisdom of their own,
Yeah.
right? And so it is part of that coming back into relationality that
Mm-hmm.
is a big part of the reimagining what our psychology could look like. And we have a long way
Yeah.
to go there. We have a,
Yeah.
a, a hell of a long way to go as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to that.
Mm-hmm. And I think the more people can be versed in that language, the easier it becomes for more people to talk about it. Because I think one
Yes.
of the things that we notice early, early part of this is that, shoot, who can I talk this with? Like, how can I ever talk about this with anybody? That's how it usually feels in the beginning, right?
Yes. It feels like
So
psychosis because you're seeing a reality that is outside of the waters that we swim in, and you're like, I think I just saw through to the other side of the matrix, but I don't know if it's in my own head or, you
yeah.
know,
Right.
yeah.
And it's funny this word matrix comes up quite often in the past month or so. Like we are literally making another matrix. But we can't
Mm,
make matrix by ourselves.
right.
Because it's a
By
collective system.
definition.
By
Right.
definition, it's a collective system. That's the matrix, right?
Right.
So we need more people to be able to speak this language or this
Yeah.
way of being or relating or feeling, you
Right.
know. And that is why that we look at these training program as almost like a community organizing, because
Yeah.
essentially that's what we're doing, you
And
know.
it becomes exponential because the people that are in the process are then taking it out to
Yeah.
have influence in other networks.
Yeah.
And so we come into this idea of, and I think it's very Aquarian, this idea of sacred collectives,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
how are these different parts of the organism
Mm-hmm.
kind of self-organized, but also working in collaboration with other organisms.
Yeah.
That's what the natural world teaches us. That's how we find homeostasis. That's how we find survival. That's how we find blossoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's
Mm-hmm.
remembering that, like we're part of these larger organisms.
Yeah. Yesterday, I got really excited because somebody reached out to me and saying that her and her colleague from their educational organization and her colleague wants to do core together. And I was like, oh my God, this is my dream fucking come true right now. I'm like, you're making my
Yes,
dream come true
that's a
because
dream come true.
that is such a dream come true. And here's the reason why, because it's hard to do this by ourselves when we can have somebody who speaks the same language in your organization,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
sure, we have this small group who is this group that's called the cohort or whatever it is. But when you apply it in the real world, it becomes so much easier when you already have someone who speaks the same language. And I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, this is the moment where my dream is coming true.
And that's the thing. It's coming back to a relational, like the value of relationships. This is not about individualism. This is not about leadership in a um, unilateral way. Like
Yeah,
leadership is not a ladder. Leadership is a circle.
yeah,
And like, how
yeah,
do we bring that forward? I think is like you said, the dream. Like, no, we're doing this together. We're holding each other accountable.
yeah,
We're dreaming it forward together.
yeah.
And I love us.
I
I love
know.
us.
And this idea of like dreaming, how we as an adult, quote air quotes, adult, we may think that's like child's play, or it's like we don't have time for that. But if you were to really understand psychology of it, that's the origin of where all creation happens. And if I were to really think about my life, even like, how the fuck a person who's kind of this like a lower middle class Japanese woman whose mom was divorced, um, tried to commit suicide before I left, ended up being in the United States, right? And ended up learning from people like you and all these teachers. Like, if I were to logically think about my life path, it does not make any sense.
And
But
that's
I
how you
know
know it's
now that
true.
yeah, I know now that coming back to my home, hearing about my grandmother's stories, and she was really the original community organizer in this place. I didn't know
Mm.
that, but she was. I thought I was there. I thought I was doing something very new and different for my family. I was only doing what my grandmother was doing, but in a different way, and maybe a little bit
Mm-hmm.
expanded way, right? Beyond the
Mm-hmm.
immediate neighbors, but into this idea of bridging different identities and different ways of beings. And in that, now more than ever, I'm really thinking like, fuck, this is the dream my grandmother didn't even know she had.
Mm.
And that's
Yeah.
how powerful our psyche is and how powerful
Yeah.
our dream is. So
Yeah.
it's so important for us to continue to refine how we think what we think and what we have as this vision that we want for ourselves without feeling discouraged.
Yeah. And that's the aspect of the psychology that is like, my mind doesn't begin and stop with me. My
Right.
mind is interconnected with the ecology.
Yeah.
My mind is interconnected with my ancestors. My mind is
Yeah.
interconnected with my descendants. And my
Yeah.
mind is in an interconnected shared field with every person that I come in contact with.
Yeah.
And so that's a different kind of psychology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm just really excited that we get to kind of workshop this out and be in a lab space with you and all the other beautiful faculty and just those that who believe that it's possible,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't really care what kind of label people carry to come into core. You can be a
Mm-hmm.
corporate leader, you can be an educator, you can be a mom, a stay-home mom. I don't, the label doesn't matter to us, right? But what we
Right.
want is that desire to see this is something that we want to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
And to trust, it's kind of like when we were talking before, it's like, sometimes we find ourselves in places and we think we had something to do with it,
Yeah.
but really we were placed there, right?
Yep.
And so
Totally.
sometimes even that just starts with a curiosity of like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm drawn to this thing, but I'm drawn to this thing. Let me explore. And sometimes it's following that
Yeah.
that allows us to be in right relationship with the many, many guides that bring us to a place.
Yeah. Well, man, I love us.
I love us. I love
um,
us.
thank you so, so, so much for your time and, sharing your energy and expertise with us today. I love you,
I love
and I'm
you.
so honored your to be even considered your friend.
I am I I feel like, the platform that C.O.R.E has created for us as faculty members to take what we are so passionate about and have really dedicated our lives to. We really look at the faculty on C.O.R.E and to have a platform where we can bring our knowledge systems together and to create,
Hmm.
we always say in an indigenous worldview, it's greater than the sum of its parts. So what
Right?
we're doing together through this program exceeds what we could do individually in our little pockets. And
Totally.
I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for you and your leadership and your friendship and your love. And I love us. I love us.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
And bye, everyone.